Welcome to the session Computer Vision and its application. In this session, we will be focusing on the capabilities of computer vision and their real world applications. So, I believe now we understand computer vision is a deep learning concept, and the default algorithm for it would be artificial neural network. So now let's try to understand how do machines understand an image in terms of machine codes or either numerical numbers or binary codes, right? So each image, right, is made up of multiple pixels, and for each pixel there is a color coding value which we can represent in terms of red, green or blue. So in this case, like we can see that we can convert this pixel, right, into red, green and blue with the code for red as 23, green 100 and blue as 190, right? And if we take a 1000 pixel into a 1000 pixel image, right, then we're talking about approximately 1 million pixels, right? And for each pixel, since there are three numbers associated to each pixel, then when we are talking about 1 million pixels, then the number of data points we're talking about is 3 million data points, right? So one image of 1000 pixel by 1000 pixel, when converted into a RGB matrix, would have 3 million data points, right? uh, and once this image, which is now labeled as smiling, is converted into machine code, which we did into 3 million data points, we can train a neural network to identify whether in an image a person is smiling or not, right? uh, and if you want to understand the concept of vision in a little more depth, right, so here is a visual representation of how an image gets deconstructed in a artificial neural network. Like in this case, we take the image as an input layer, right? The first hidden layer would identify the images, pass it on to hidden layer 2, which will start identifying the combination of edges, where it will start identify the eyes or it will start identify the lips. And then when it passes on that to the hidden layer 3, it will probably start identifying the whole face, all right? And then it goes into the output layer. Now let's see the most widely talked about computer vision capabilities and their associated applications. So first is object and scene detection. It is the ability of the machine to automatically label objects, concepts and scenes in an image and provide confidence score. Like in this case, we can see that computer has been able to identify that in this scene there is a car, there are vehicles. The scene is about transportation. There is an automobile, there is a person and there is a human, right? um, and one of its key application is in the manufacturing sector. So this is an image of a shop floor, where the manager has to constantly monitor for multiple compliance checks. They also need to check for monitor machines and monitor the activity that is happening inside their shop floor. So one of the key applications of object and scene detection is at the shop floors of big warehouses, right? Now second we talk about is facial recognition, where machine is able to give a complete analysis of facial attributes including confidence score, right? So in this case we see that it says it looks like a face, it appears to be female, the age range is between 17 to 29 and the lady is smiling. And there are more than, so right now if you see there are only four, but I can tell you we can pull out at least very easily 17 17 points through this facial analysis. And one of a very interesting application of facial analysis is to be used in schools, where we can identify that how the students are behaving to the education that is being given. So if there is a student who is looking confused or unhappy over a long period of time, the school or teacher can assist that student or understand what is the issue that these kids are facing. All right. Uh, the third capability I want to talk about is text in an image, which has got a lot of popular applications in the real world environment. So basically, it is the capability of the machines to automatically detect and extract text in an image. Like in this case, it is able to extract the number plate of a car and say, okay, CJ389 NLT, right? So basically, it has the capability, the machine has the capability through computer vision to extract that text in an image and convert that into a digital format. And one of its application would be customer onboarding, where the ID, where information can be extracted from the ID of personal identification document of a person, simply by taking a photo and then basically extracting the information and putting it directly into the system. So what it does is it automates the whole system of customer onboarding and makes it pretty fast, right? uh, Fourth one, which I'm going to talk about, is a fairly recent one where the computer is able to predict the pose of a human being, whether the human is standing, whether the person is running, or he's sitting, or she is dancing, and multiple other poses can be identified. And an interesting application which I saw during these COVID days was by an online fitness startup, where they give you your energy score on the basis of your activity during the session. So, this is your energy score. This energy bar keeps on fluctuating, as per your activity in the session. So, when we talk about these four capability, right, that is your object and scene detection, facial recognition, extracting text, and pose detection, right, it covers a majority of computer vision applications that are present in the real world today, right? Yes, this is one of the most interesting field, and on a daily basis, there are some new things which are coming up which you need to keep an eye on. But these four capabilities of computer vision are a good starting point for you. Eventually, you may be saying all this theory is good, but then if I were to build a real world application of computer vision, how can I do it? Do I need to learn coding, or do I need to hire a data scientist? My answer to both of your questions would be no. You need to simply use deep learning APIs developed by either Google, Amazon, or Microsoft and apply it in your application and see how it works. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. Now, let's look at a simple application of digitizing doctor's prescription using computer vision. And we can see it very simply that this is a simple application of extracting text from an image. So once we extract text from a doctor's prescription, we can convert that into a digital prescription, right? Now let's look at some of the APIs from Amazon and Microsoft which can help us do this. So now let us look at AWS, that how can AWS cloud services can help us with extracting text from images, right? So AWS has the service called Amazon Recognition, which is a deep learning based visual analysis service which helps in search, verify, and organize millions of images and videos. So let's try out their demo. All right. So these are basically the set of APIs which you can use use as a part of AWS service, right? So they offer object and scene detection. They offer an API for image moderation, for facial analysis, celebrity recognition, and I think what we need was text in an image, right? So in this, where we can see this is an image, it's a Monday but keep smiling. This is an image, and eventually they have been able to identify it's Monday but keep smiling, right? Now let me upload an image for you. All right, let's take this image only and see whether it is able to identify the text in this image. All right, great. So now in this whole image, it is able to identify difference between AI, ML, DL, right? Similar to AWS recognition services, Microsoft Azure also offers these kind of services through its computer vision capability, right? Where again it can extract rich information from images, like in this case, right? Similar to object and scene detection, it is able to identify that that the scene is skating, snowboarding, and there is an equipment and a lot more things it is able to identify. So basically, this is a perfect example of object and scene detection. And we were looking for help on text extraction, and just let's take an example from their reference only, right? And see that once you upload this kind of a receipt, right, it is able to identify multiple types of data and identify that what is there in the data. So now I think you have gained a better understanding that what is computer vision, how you can also apply computer vision to your own application without needing to learn to code, or for that matter hiring a data scientist. I would request you to, after this session, probably request you to explore the APIs provided by Google, that is your Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure, and AWS, and try to experiment with them, play with them, and I'm sure you will now be able to figure out that where you can apply these APIs in your current application or in your future applications. Thank you.